So, there I was, right? I was yesterday, I'm not feeling that great. Maybe you can tell, maybe you can't, I don't know. But yesterday I was feeling okay enough, so I went to the gym and I was, getting my deadlift set up and all of that. And I was warming up, and in between the warm up sets, I was checking, X, and I started to see who was posting, what was going on, really. And I saw Andrew T. Walker here. Andrew T. Walker is one of those guys that I have a lot of hope for. He certainly seems to be not totally clueless all the time, and so here we go. I saw him post about the infamous "Whim Away, the Lion Sleeps Tonight" video from the Donald Trump account. And it's racist, all that racism. And so Andrew T. Walker here, he posts about it, and this is what he says. He says, the video grotesquely depicting the Obamas deserves condemnation. It is vile. And the fact that it emerged from within the White House out of an abundance of incompetence, I believe, only compounds the disgrace. If you can't bring yourself to see that or say that, something is broken in your moral calculus. At the same time, what deserves equal scrutiny is the moral asymmetry on display. Many who are properly outraged here have no problem indulging or excusing the normalization of anti-white racism. See the heinous video circulating from a sitting congressman to understand how this sentiment is not an exception on the left. And here is the deeper point. Christianity offers a better moral grammar than our tribal outrage cycles. The image of God inheres in every human being without addition or subtraction. That metaphysical reality, not partisan convenience, grounds why impartiality must govern our concept of justice and moral critique. Well, I got to say, it sounds like Andrew T. Walker is not kidding. And he has done it, my friends. He has finally figured out how to make everybody happy. You see, here's how it goes. You see, imagine if the roles were reversed. It's sort of like that, It's sort of like that because I guess he's saying the roles are reversed right now, blah, 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 and all of that. But, and you got to give Andrew T. Walker a little bit of leeway here because he hasn't been at this for that long, and so he actually still thinks that this is an effective way, to fight this. It's very, very hilarious, I got to be honest with you. I tried my best. Years ago, I said, look, guys, the next time the racist thing, the thing that everyone is saying is racist, and you're supposed to say how racist it is and how you can't abide and blah, 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 blah. I'm a conservative stalwart. Normally I don't say anything, but this time you've gone too far. I cannot abide, blah, blah, blah. The next time the thing comes out, because it's going to be a next time, we already know this, right? Years ago, I wasn't a prophet back then. I just knew that this is what they do, right? The next time it comes out, take a deep breath, right? That's the first thing you do. You take a deep breath, and then you just wait. You just wait and see what happens, and really try to think about it, right? Try to think about it, and really just sit with it for a little bit. Because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. You're actually not going to lose any credibility if you don't say anything, right? If you don't say anything, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And if you do decide to say something a few days later, nobody's going to care that you were late, right? Because this is the thing. Everyone wants to be right on it, like I want to be one of the first to call out the condemnation of the racism and all this kind of stuff. And but it doesn't do anything for you, and this is my point. Like, this whole this is racist thing. I'm going to condemn it, that kind of thing. It doesn't really do anything for you. Nobody that doesn't like you is going to like you because you said, no, that's racist, right? But here's the other thing. We're terrible. We're terrible at spotting the racism. Absolutely horrendous, right? Like, let's just grant the category of racism is real. Racism is so real. It's so insidious, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's just grant it all. We're not good at spotting it. We just don't get it. We don't understand what's going on all the time. And it's not your fault, I'm not trying to blame you. I went to public school. I know what I was taught. And what we were taught, we were all mixed up, right? We were all mixed up to see racism in all these places, and we're terrible at it. So maybe just cool it on the condemnation of this racism and that racism. You know, here's a suggestion. You know, if you gotta release the pressure every now and then. You know, that's another one of my things. You know, the condemnation of racism is like a pressure release valve. You know, evangelicals, they're known for being sticks in the mud on everything. But then finally something comes out like Obama and his wife being depicted as apes, and it's like, oh yes, I can finally be in the condemnation club. I don't have to be the stick in the mud. I can be cool this time. And you flick the pressure release valve, and it just releases a lot of that pent up frustration of always being the stick in the mud evangelical. You know what, though, guys? It really doesn't do anything for you. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, right? You just don't need to do it. But, of course, nobody listened to me back then, and they're not going to listen to me now. So many people that should know better. And I put Andrew in that category. Maybe I'm naive. But I put Andrew T. Walker in the category of someone who should know better. You know, Megan Basham, she flinched on this. And she admitted it. She said, oh, yeah, you know, I got fooled this time, you know. And, you know, you got to give her credit for at least admitting it, right? Like, because that's the thing. Most people don't ever admit it. You know, they get fooled again. They get fooled again by the next racist thing, and they just pretend like nothing ever happened. Or they double down. That's the other thing. That's what most people do. Megan Basham didn't. She got fooled, which is, you know, listen. It happens. People get fooled. And she's a woman. She wants to be sympathetic to people. She wants to be nice. That's what she wants. And so you can't give her too much, you can't hate on her too much for it. She got fooled, you know, but here's the thing. Like, she at least admitted it. But a lot of people got fooled. And, you know, it's wild, man. It's absolutely wild. Here's my suggestion. This is what I was trying to say earlier. You know, if you need to do the pressure release valve thing, do it in your own personal life. You know what I mean? Because especially when it's like a public thing and you got to go down social media to condemn it, blah, 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 you know. I can't abide this any longer. The racism coming from the White House. You know, all this kind of stuff. Like, you're never right. That's the thing. You're never going to be right when that happens. It's just not going to happen. I know theoretically the White House could do something so racist. I know theoretically they could. But in practice, it's never going to be correct. So if you need to do the pressure release thing, do it in your private life. You know, when you see the white guy go, oh, yeah, you stupid Jew, you know, like, then you can just, you know, go, hey, man, hey, we don't do that here, you know, that kind of thing. In your private life, do that. But in public, it's never true. You're always being fooled. Always. You know what I mean? And then the one time out of 100 you're not being fooled, who cares? You know, you're not getting any points. Nobody looks at you different. Just ignore it. Ignore it. That's my advice to you. But hey, nobody listened to me then. I can't expect you to listen to me now. But a lot of people got fooled. And what I saw what I saw was a new Gavin Ortlund video on Truth Unites. Gavin Ortlund, the golden boy of the new big evangelical leadership. You know, this is the heir apparent to Russell Moore, the moral conscience of our time. You know, Gavin Ortlund, very reasonable. This guy, he did a whole video about this post, and I just it boggles the mind. It really does. How they consistently do this. They give us this grace of entertainment constantly. But what I thought we could do is we could do a video response. Now, I kind of feel a little bit embarrassed because Protestia did a very funny video response to this whole thing where they played the entire video and made comments on screen. You know, it was very good. But, you know, obviously my style is a little different. But I highly recommend you watch it. If you don't want to do a 5-parter like I do, that one's just all in one part. It's just the whole video. He doesn't comment on audio. He just puts it on the screen. It's very funny, so you got to actually pay attention to it. I watched the first 5 minutes of it. It was very good. Very good. But what I thought we could do is we could do another 5-minute video, 5-part video rather, and respond to Gavin Ortlund. So let's do it. Let's get into it.
For Christians living in the United States of America, how should we respond when our political leaders do something morally egregious? This happened late Thursday night of the week that I'm recording this, when on President Trump's Truth Social account, a terrible racist image of
All
Barack.
right, so this is the stage he's set, right? The president did something terrible and morally egregious, and look at his face. This guy is not kidding. He is highly distressed by this. And if you didn't know what he did, you got to be thinking, well, but this must be pretty bad. Like, he must have used the N-word, like, this must be pretty bad. And he just, that's how he sets it up. And just, I want you to listen to this, how he, let's just do it.
Obama and Michelle Obama was posted. I won't reproduce that image here. I'm not interested in offering a partisan take on this, but I am wrestling with a pastoral question. And I'm guessing.
So he's not going to show you what the egregious, evil, disgusting, morally reprehensible thing is, but he'll tell you that it's all those things. And so you got to be thinking, wow, this is really bad. Trump must have really did it this time. But he's not going to show you it, right? And he's saying, he's kind of framing this as, I'm not going to show you. I have too much integrity to show you this disgusting image. But I actually think I know what's going on. He's not showing you because it's so stupid. It is so stupid. It's even more stupid than you think it is. And then this is the other thing he does. And sorry if I'm a little scattered here. I'm not well. The other thing he does is he says, I'm not going to give you the political partisan take here, but I'm going to give you my pastoral concern, right? I'm going to give you my pastoral concern. And that is such baloney. I mean, of course this is a partisan take. Of course it is. But he doesn't want to be that guy. He doesn't want to be the partisan guy. So he's going to rename this partisan take. This is my pastoral concern, and thus be the center of the moral compass that Christians ought to have. It's Gavin Ortlund. And actually, Andrew T. Walker's thing did this as well. What he says is, it's a grotesque video, grotesque depiction, and it compounds a disgrace that the White House did it, even if they did it accidentally, is what he's saying. So no matter what happened, because it's proven that it was an accident. Like, they didn't intend to put this video out. It came out because it was an auto scroll thing. Well, you know how it goes on YouTube, right? Things pop up that maybe they're tangentially related to something that you've watched, but they just automatically come, and you're like, why does the algorithm think I want this, and all of that. So he said that if you can't agree that it was, number one, grotesque, and number two, a disgrace compounded by the fact that the White House did it accidentally, then there's something broken in your moral compass. So Andrew T. Walker is saying, this is how it is. It's not only grotesque, but it's a compounded disgrace, even if it was an accident. And if you don't agree, then your moral compass is broken, because Andrew T. Walker's moral compass is intact. It's intact. And so he's the center of Christian morality, and Gavin's doing the same thing. Gavin's doing the same thing. He knows what's what, and if you don't agree, then you are in sin. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Saying I am not the only American Christian who is wrestling with this. Christians in other contexts might be looking in as well.
Oh, yeah. What
do we do?
The world is watching.
That's the question I'm wrestling with. On the one hand, there's something
Here's
like this.
what you do, Gavin. Nothing. Because it was an accident, and it wasn't that offensive in the first place. So not only is Andrew T. Walker both wrong on this part, where he's like, well, it's even worse because it was incompetence. It was an accident. Somehow that makes it worse. The accident, it's not an oopsie. It's actually worse. It's a morally culpable extra sin because it was an accident, according to Andrew T. Walker, which is insane on the face of it. But not only that, the video isn't that bad in the first place. Now, I can see ultra-sensitive people, and they understand that blacks in the old days were called monkeys. And even today, some people want to derogatorily call them monkeys and all that. And, it's offensive. I understand that. But the video itself, because of what the video is very unlikely to be making that kind of a play against the Obamas. Very unlikely. If you haven't seen the video, Michelle and Barack, they're in the beginning of the video, and they're two gorillas. And then some other people are a hyena. I think it's like, who's the hyena? I forget. Someone's a hyena. Someone's a warthog. Someone's a pig. Someone's a giraffe. And then Joe Biden is a monkey as well. right? And the whole thing is the Lion Sleeps Tonight song, and Trump is the king of the jungle. It's a stupid video. It's it's a little humorous. Haha, Trump is the king of he's the Lion King, and all the subjects are bowing to him, and there's the giraffe and the hippopotamus, and it's a stupid video. Not that offensive. Unless you're ultra sensitive or you have a interest in making an offense. You know what I mean? And you could say, well, maybe they just put Biden as a monkey too, just so that they could have some cover, right? Maybe they did. Maybe that's exactly right. Maybe the guy who wrote the video, who made the AI video, is a raging racist and thinks Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are like monkeys because that's the racist thing to think. And so he's but he's not racist enough to just put it out there. So what he wanted to do is get a little cover, right? So he made Joe Biden, a monkey as well, and so Joe Biden's eating the banana, he looks so happy eating that banana. So maybe he's like super racist, but like a little bit ashamed of his racism, even though nobody would know who made the video. So he put the Biden thing in there as cover, maybe. But that's the video. That's the video that is grotesque, morally reprehensible, evil to the core, and it's really making this guy just struggle. He's in a big pastoral struggle. How do I respond to this stupid AI cartoon where Donald Trump is a lion and then there the rest of the Democrats are the animals in the jungle that have to bow to the lion? And these guys get paid for this. And that's the thing that really just troubles me. I'm troubled, and I'm concerned, and I'm struggling. Because I'm realizing that these men get paid to talk about these ethical dilemmas. And with everything that's going on right now, we got emails that are being released by the Department of Justice, where it certainly seems like the elite in our country are not only raping children in record numbers, but also potentially eating them, sacrificing them to Satan. And in these troubled times, what really keeps up Gavin Ortlund at night, a man paid for his takes on ethical dilemmas, is a cartoon parody video of Donald Trump being the king of the jungle and the Democrats being the other animals, and how to respond to it. Now listen, you might say, well, AD, you're doing a video responding to that, so you're even stupider than they are. But you got to remember, I'm just a guy hanging out in my basement office doing videos on things that entertain me. I don't get paid for my takes on ethical dilemmas in my research and study on ethics. It's unbelievable. This is, I mean, the only way I can understand these kinds of videos and these kinds of statements, Andrew T. Walker and Gavin Ortlund and Russell Moore and all these guys, the only way I can understand this is that it's just judgment from God. It reminds me of the story in the Bible where Israel goes to war. I think it's the Philistines, and he causes confusion in the camps, and they start slaughtering each other. It's like that level of absolute confusion. I mean, you don't like the Epstein files. I can understand that. You don't like the Pizzagate stuff, which, is probably real. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that stuff. You don't want to talk about it. Okay. There's so much going on right now. There's so much going on right now. And you choose to spend your time stressing out over this AI video. Now, here's the thing. I decided to think about the AI video just a little bit more, just because I wanted to just understand what's going on. And the thing about the black people and the monkeys and the apes, because obviously gorillas are apes, and the mandrill, I think Rafiki was a mandrill, is a monkey, So, biologically they're different. But I wanted to see, like, I know that many black people have taken back the ape metaphor, right? And they call each other apes. In fact, I remember a DMX song where he's talking about the Rough Riders, oh, no, the Rough Riders anthem, very popular song. And there's a line in that song where he's they're braggadocious about their power and their aggression and the money that they have. And in the song he says, "You think you're holding weight? Well, you haven't met the apes." And he's talking about his own crew, and they're all black, of course. And so, they've taken it back. They've taken it back, right? Apes is actually a positive thing in hip hop culture. Could be part of it, could be part of it. There's also a legend, an old Negro spiritual legend of like a monkey that's like a trickster monkey, and he comes and he tricks you into doing things. He's sneaky, And I suppose that the video could be addressing that because the Obamas were tricky, and all that. Or, I mean, you could read into it. Or, even in finance, finance YouTube. People call each other apes, right? They call each other apes. And usually when they do that, it's because they're doing something very stupid financially, like buying GameStop stock, just against the big bankers, right? To try to screw the big bankers. And they call each other apes because they're going ape, right? Because, they're just monkeying around. They're just idiots. But they're actually winning because they're so strong, Could be that, Could be that. It's like a positive thing in those cultures. There's, you guys know I like precious metals. There's even silver apes, silverbacks. And they call each other apes because they just love silver so much. They just buy it no matter what. And, it shouldn't work, but somehow it is working. That's what they call each other. They're apes. It could be that. Yeah, it could be that. You ever heard of going ape? Like, I'm going ape. There's another word to that. I don't like using that word myself. I don't like using profanities. But it's like I'm going to go crazy on it. I'm going to go ape. That kind of thing. Could be that. Or it could just be a stupid video depicting all of your enemies as lesser jungle beings, whereas you're the king of the jungle, which is interesting because lions aren't even in the jungle. There's no lions in the jungle. They live in the savannah. The whole thing is preposterous. But it's an AI video. Gavin Ortlund, though, he's very, very, very concerned about this, and he's going to spend time thinking and stressing and talking about this very stupid AI video.
This happens, and I were to just go totally silent and say nothing, my conscience starts just going haywire.
You see this? You see this? This is what drives his conscience nuts. He can't not say anything. I'm here to tell you, you can just not say anything. That's a possibility, and 9 times out of 10, it's the best thing to do, just to say nothing. But no. All the things happening in the world today, and he can't not say anything about this AI video that was posted by mistake. That wasn't even that offensive in the first place, but it was a mistake anyway. This is a moral crisis for our country, and he must speak. He must speak. Absolutely hilarious. What do you even do? What do you do with a guy like this? I don't know.
I would then feel as though I'm participating in the normalization of evil. In the same way where if you're on a boat and you see an iceberg dead ahead, you have a moral obligation to say something.
This guy is absolutely full of it. This is what he wants. This is exactly the message, right? It's right up front. He's being honest. This is what he wants. He is telling you that if you don't say anything, then you are part of it. If you don't say anything, and it has to be the right things, if you don't call this morally reprehensible, evil, regardless of what happened or why, or whatever it means, it doesn't even matter what it means contextually, doesn't matter. If you don't speak up and put the black circle, whatever, the black square on your profile and tear your clothes and the racism, then you are normalizing this, the evil in our country. That's your part of it. That's what he wants. He wants you to feel the way he feels. He's saying the way he feels is the Christian moral way to feel. You must say something. And that's why guys like Andrew, who are sensitive to guys like Gavin. Andrew is sensitive to guys like Gavin. There's a lot of people in this position. He's actually kind of got it right here, that there's such an asymmetry. It's ridiculous. You know, on the one hand, we have this stupid AI video. On the other hand, we've got a sitting member of Congress speaking all kinds of evil and then carrying it out. Like there's a little bit of a difference in weight there. You know, one's just a stupid video posted by who knows who, right? Who knows who posted it? And who knows what it even means, right? It's just an AI video with a song. And on the other hand, we've got a sitting member of Congress saying what he thinks and then trying to accomplish it. There's a little bit of a difference there, right? And so Andrew T. Walker's actually doing okay here, but he has to say this first part because he feels like if he doesn't, then he's part of it, because guys like Gavin Ortlund have done quite a number on many Christians, feeling like they have to jump. Anytime there's the new racist thing, do the opposite of what AD says. Don't take a deep breath. Don't think about it too much. Don't wait. Jump on it. Otherwise, you're part of it. What he's telling you is let your emotions rule you. Don't think. Don't wait. Just act. Just act and condemn. This is the stupidest possible thing that you could do in 2026. Because if you let your emotions rule you, the propaganda is so thick. It is so thick that they will have you moving this way and that way and this way. And before you know it, you are going to be defending a vulgar, vile, disgusting performance at the Super Bowl halftime show as if it's a beautiful display of Christian culture or Puerto Rican culture. Guys, like, it is wild to me how many people are pretending that this Bad Bunny show was a beautiful display of Puerto Rican culture and amazing and diversity personified and all this kind of stuff. It's disgusting. And this is coming from a guy who likes Puerto Rican music. You know what I mean? I know some people don't like the music. They think it sounds like a circus show. Whatever. You guys, whatever. You have your own taste. I like Puerto Rican music. I even like Puerto Rican heavy metal. You know, there's a band called Puya that's pretty good. But this Bad Bunny reggaeton stuff, like, let me just clue you in on how Christian Puerto Ricans think. You know, and obviously I don't speak for all of them, but Christian Puerto Rican parents don't let their kids listen to reggaeton because it's got no redeeming qualities. It is completely vulgar. It is disgusting. Bad Bunny's lyrics are some of the worst. And you saw it on display. That's the other thing, too, that just boggles my mind. Like, you didn't actually have to understand. If you did understand the lyrics, then, of course, it'd be worse. But you didn't have to understand the lyrics. You just had to use your eyes and see what was happening on the screen. It's vulgar. It's absolutely degenerate to the core. And Christian parents, Puerto Rican parents, know this. So, if you want to listen to Gavin, I mean, what Gavin is telling you to do is to absolutely do the opposite of what's wise to do. Your emotions cannot control you, and sadly, Gavin's emotions do control him. And maybe they don't. Maybe he just is doing this intentionally just to get you to do what he wants. That's possible too. He seems like a smart guy. But you just can't do this. Do the opposite of what Gavin says. Wait, think, take a deep breath, wait a few days, see what happens, and you won't end up being fooled again by the next racist thing. And if you do get fooled, do what Megan Basham did. Apologize for it. You know, I got fooled again. I spoke too soon. You know, it happens. I'm sorry. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. In any case, we're going to stop there. We only got through a minute of the video, but that's just how we do it. You know what I mean? That's how we do it. I hope you found this video helpful, and we'll be back with part 2. God bless.
Donde han nacido grandes cantores, músicos, grandes poetas, mujeres bellas, compositores.
Tierra donde el gallo canta, arropado de cundiamores. Yo vengo de Puerto Rico, yo soy boricua, señores. Yo soy de donde se